As outdoor enthusiasts and a family with 5 kids, my wife and I constantly get asked, how do we do it? The answer in our case is simple. You just take them along. This video is probably going to be a little bit different than the ones that you've seen so far. Most of the Follow the Compass North videos have been gear reviews, tips and tricks, and lessons learned, but this one's going to be a little bit more family oriented. You see, the purpose of this channel is not just to generate views and subscribers and revenue. That is an added bonus, and it's going to go a long way towards meeting our homesteading goals in the future. It's super difficult not to stay focused or fixated on the future because we're moving into our homestead in about 3 years. August 8th, 2026, we begin our real journey of self-sufficiency and self-reliance. We view those more as aspirational goals that you reach for but may never really achieve. After all, even if I was 100% self-sufficient, I would still want a little bit of Mrs. Dash in the cupboard. Until that moment where we move up there and start the homestead, we still need to stay focused on the things around us in the present, in the now, so we don't miss our kids growing up. Currently, work has taken us to Germany, and we're going to be here for another year before my contract is up. After that, we have another 2-year contract until I complete all of my obligations and we can move up as a family to the homestead. With such an exciting horizon, it is difficult to look down and enjoy the moment. However, the kids are a great way of grounding yourself in the now. These canyons are about 25 minutes from where we're living right now, and they're absolutely phenomenal. Even in springtime when we don't have much greenery out, they're a nice little reprieve from the winter. Specifically, I love how the moss pops green right before anything else buds or flourishes. Now, I've chopped down a lot of this footage and have rendered it into a single journey with the kids enjoying one of the deeper canyons around here called Devil's Canyon. Here they are descending into the chasm. My oldest, Zach, who is in the lead, has been instructed to make sure that he doesn't get too far ahead and that he rallies the kids every once in a while so we don't lose accountability. Otherwise, their pace and their route is up to them. Sure, Tila and I are in the back and making sure that nobody falls or gets lost, but we believe in letting the kids adventure a little on their own. For trips like these, we take all the electronics and put them in the backpack so that we have them in case of emergency, but they won't be coming out until we're done or until we need them. But as Tila just pointed out as I was doing this voiceover, the drone obviously is not put away. We're actively using it, so maybe I'm a little bit of a hypocrite when it comes to electronics on the trail. The other boy there in the black jacket is Liam. He's an incredibly capable 10-year-old boy, but sometimes can scare the hell out of us because he gets too close to the edge. If I had to be honest, I'd keep my eye on him and Juniper, the smallest girl, the most. She's a firecracker, and I have no idea what she's going to do with her life, but it's going to be great. But if you look closely at Juniper as we continue this adventure, you'll see that she's got quite a boyish cut. Just 2 days ago, she had long, curling hair that came down to her shoulders, and she decided that it needed a trim. Long story short, we ended up having to cut it back quite a ways to cover up what she had done. The other 2 girls, the medium-sized ones, are River and Sky. They're identical twins. I've always been fascinated with twins. I thought they would have similar personalities since they have everything else the same, but that is not the case. River is wide-eyed, intelligent, and highly opinionated, while Sky likes to sit back and enjoy things at her pace. And that's okay. Never try to push a kid beyond their own pace. You can easily turn a fun educational experience into an argument or a moment of friction if you try to push them beyond what they're capable of or push them beyond what they're wanting to be capable of in that moment. I like to use myself as an example there. I didn't talk until I was over 3 years old, and now I've got a beard. So everything turns out just right in the end, regardless of which pace you work at. And you're probably wondering why I'm doing this long, wordy voiceover about the family when I'm usually breaking survival equipment or making recommendations for those getting into bushcraft, survival, or homesteading. And it comes back to what I was saying at the beginning of the video. This channel is not just to gain subscribers, gain views, gain likes. I know this video will not do well. It's 10 minutes of voiceover drone footage. I know how YouTube works. But 10 years from now, 20 years from now, we can all look back at this and remember the times where we were in Germany together. Remember the canyons we climbed through and the beautiful trees and the mosses that we looked past and forgotten after all those years. In some ways, this is a journal, a vlog, a documentation of the times that we had here together. And if some strangers out there watched us and want to become a little bit closer to the family, watch the journey as we grow into a homestead and become more and more self-sufficient and self-reliant, that's wonderful too. That's not to say that I don't enjoy getting hundreds of thousands or millions of views, because that Google AdSense revenue goes a long way towards helping us out as a family. To be 100% honest, those jackets and those shoes on the girls right now were paid for by our Patreons. Sure, it's only $30 or $40 jacket, but times that by 5 and you have yourself quite an expense. So I won't sit here and pretend that having a lot of views and having a lot of subscribers or Patreons and whatnot isn't helpful, because it is. It absolutely is extremely helpful, setting us up for the life that we want to live. I can't tell you how grateful we are to have the views that we have, to have the 350,000 subscribers that we have at this point. It's incredible to me that that many people are interested in this kind of lifestyle, or interested in the tips and tricks that we can give as outdoor enthusiasts and homestead specialists. I know you're not learning a lot in this video, you're just getting to know us a little bit better, but if you stick around, you'll learn a lot about canning and preserving, hunting, fishing, growing your own crops, and maintaining a sense of self-reliance in a world where we've grown to become the perfect consumer. I like to view it as the repair culture making a comeback. Instead of replacing everything, what can we do to repair what we already have? Instead of getting a new gadget, is there anything we can learn from the past that can help us meet this need? We can do a root cause analysis of what we actually need and then address that need instead of addressing the wants that we've developed as consumers. So instead of being vague here, let's talk specifics. You don't need money for groceries. What you need is sustenance. In a society built on capitalism, yes, money is the gateway to meet all of our needs. But if you stop viewing your life as a series of expenses and start viewing it as a series of needs that need to be met, then you can start thinking of creative ways of meeting those needs. Is it possible to keep chickens, or grow a garden, or hunt for your meat? What time of year can you forage and gather from the wilderness? How many items off that grocery list can you eliminate just by knowing your own capabilities and using them to meet your needs instead of your wants? I grew up in the deep north woods of Michigan, and we never bought blueberries. Each year during blueberry season, the entire family would roll out to the field and we would pick our butts off day after day until we had a couple 100 pounds, which would last us the entire year. In spring, we'd go out morel hunting with Grandpa. In fall, we would hunt deer. And yes, we would even collect fresh roadkill if we saw the accident happen and knew that it was a fresh killed deer. We would grab that and throw it in the freezer as well. Of course, with the appropriate amount of processing beforehand. Suddenly, there's this moment where you have hundreds of pounds of berries, you have hundreds of pounds of meat, you have vegetables and canned goods, and you realize your grocery bill is half of what it used to be. I know, like I said, that's never going to get you completely off that grocery list, but it will change your perspective. That new perspective will show that you can replace money with capability. And the more capable you become, the less expensive life is. I know, I've gotten off on a tangent about teaching the merits of capability instead of just talking about the family like I intended for this video. But I suppose that's the follow the compass north way. Integrate your life with the life you want to live and bring your family along for the journey. Hearing myself talk, I know that sounds a lot like the conclusion to this video when I still have another minute and 30 seconds left. So what's my final point? Well, we take that mindset of building competence and we start to pass it off to our kids. As you can see Sky here taking one step at a time at her own pace, way behind the other kids. You also see that she's not asking for help, and no one is giving her help just because she's a little behind. If she slipped and fell, of course, we're right there to patch her up and get her back on her feet. Don't worry. And if she gets into a bind where she needs help, she'll ask and we'll help, of course. But you've got to let them go out and experiment and fail and try and succeed on their own so they know how to rely on themselves. This builds capability, and a capable child is a confident child. It also shows them what their real limitations are. Because they're kids, they have limitations. Not knowing that you have limitations is almost as dangerous as not knowing that you have capability. Honestly, I wish every single person on the planet knew both their limitations and their capabilities. And I also wish that every single person on the planet had someone there to take care of them when they needed help. Tila and I can't solve those problems for every single person, but we can for these 5 kids, at least to the best of our capabilities, given our limitations. Thank you for watching this entire thing. That helps us out. Like, comment, subscribe. That helps as well. Take care.